Đừng có dựa vô mẹ. Ra nó ngồi.
Bác ra ghế nào đi bác?
Ừ?
Biết ấp sụp đang đãi một cái đó đừng làm đi. Cái gì là mấy cái cọng
Nhài này hả? Đúng rồi. Con cũng bầu đi đang đi với vợ.
câu bị sự
Đi với vợ ủng hộ. Ý là
Sung giữ lại câu của ủng hộ.
không, ý là con Sung á bố.
Thấy đứng cái chơi đó.
Chưa nướng luôn hả?
Đừng làm công chị ghé bác. Mọi quy thôi.
Tốt luôn chứ.
Dạ phê thật.
Đâu ra?
Không ơi, phê với Yêu.
Nó không nói chuyện nữa nghe. Còn em là không được nói. Chị làm nhẹ nhàng cho. Không luôn, cũng nó mụn nhiều. Hai mươi cái cảm thấy có xí xí phải.
20 bông.
20 bông.
Thì cái nhìn trên mạng thấy dễ chứ nhìn nào đã thấy khó.
Không có dễ là phải nghề ấy. Tụi em cũng hay xem video nặng mụn lắm hả?
Dạ có chị.
Chào em sẽ được xem 9 video của em.
Với lại thường hay mà em có coi em coi cái mà.
À, mẹ em xem hả?
Dạ.
Mẹ em xem mà chị mẹ em đè em ra nặng rồi đúng không?
Không mà em thích là cũng làm nền nhưng mà vì mà em mới đi xăm môi với xăm lông mày rồi.
À đó hả?
Thì bạn làm sau đó thì chung bên sau đó này qua nó cũng làm.
Cái bạn này bạn
Này
được chứ. Đã làm nghề rồi là làm chỗ mà mình cũng làm được hết rồi đó. Vì ra hồi nãy chị sợ tụi em nói chuyện không? Sợ nói chuyện chập á. Khách họ biết là chị không lấy tiền mấy đứa, sợ mình lộ nó nhỏ cho hồng tranh nó hàng ngày.
cầm máy liên tục với chị của mày không vậy?
Không, chị quen
rồi. Chị ái kim như đó có đau không em?
Hơi chị cỡ mắt rồi gì. Em quen rồi.
Mới đầu sợ chứ thôi.
Vì em nhìn cái mặt nó kiếm đâm vô thì
Cái tự nhiên mình thấy mình sợ đúng không?
dạ.
Thực ra đâm là chính là hơi cái miệng.
Ủa chị là diêm đâm vô hay là lấy máy bắn vô đau hơn?
Máy chi bán vô hề?
Cái, máy bắn mụn thì như bắn
Không có máy bán mụn.
không mà chú nói chứ không.
Không có máy bán mụn. À mà với máy bán mụn đâu có đau. Cái làm gôm cò mụn nó thôi, không có đau.
Không có thì sao đấy không?
Có mấy cục phim là sao làm dùm hết cái trao luôn. Bạn mua gì em làm hết.
Nhưng do thì cái nhìn là xì xì.
Chứ người...
Biết không? Nhiều người ta.
Nhiều của em đó. Đau là nói chị xăm lại
lớn
đây.
mà ngày mô cũng bắt em nặng đấy.
Đầu
Này ít quá.
Đau quá à.
V2
Ráng thêm
chỉ
xíu
cầm
nữa cái rồi chị xăm lại này.
viên hay chị.
xong lại hết đầu vậy.
Hiền xong cho cô đi cái Hiền.
Tới công việc của em rồi, xin đây.
Anh đi dọn làm lần đầu tiên đi. Làm xong đi, rồi về sẽ thái chị làm rất là ok.
Ok, em tin chị.
Mấy đứa này học chị mà mở áo này lại.
Học trường nghề. Nếu như chị làm cách. Hồi nãy em hỏi mà chị tặng có chị chưa trả lời được á.
Cho dưới đèn nồng.
Tôi là xíu à.
Không sao. Chứ em bị quấn luôn đó nhỉ. Người ta quấn em.
Đó là xíu à.
In driving traits and terrific twin-turbo flat-six engines, the 2022 Porsche 911 is a nearly flawless sports car, and it's an obvious editor's choice winner. Apart from being too expensive for most enthusiasts, Porsche's iconic 2+2-seater is as immersive as it is versatile. Along with the aforementioned flat-six, which produces a distinctive snarl and makes between 379 and 473 horsepower. We reviewed the higher-powered GT3 and turbo variants separately. The lineup offers a quick-shifting dual-clutch automatic or a manual transmission and rear or all-wheel drive. The latter ensures its incredible performance can be enjoyed in all 4 seasons. The 911 comes in coupe, cabriolet, reed, convertible, or quasi-convertible Targa body styles. The beauty of the 911 is that its athleticism doesn't diminish its livability. Its ride is surprisingly civil considering its cornering limits and race car-like steering feel. Its interior is roomy up front and can be lavishly appointed, and its driver is treated to a satisfyingly low seating position, but also excellent outward visibility. What's new for 2022? For 2022, the GTS trim level joins the 911 family. Along with a 473 horsepower version of the lineup's ubiquitous twin-turbo flat-six, it's available with an 8-speed automatic or 7-speed manual transmission and rear or all-wheel drive. The GTS is offered in all 3 body styles, too. Its most notable features include a specially tuned suspension, as well as 20-inch front and 21-inch rear wheels, with black center locks, as seen on the 911 Turbo. Likewise, the GTS inherits larger iron brake rotors from the top-tier Turbo. There's also a lightweight package that removes the rear seats and adds carbon fiber front buckets, lighter glass, and a rear-wheel steering system. The 2022 911 receives Porsche's latest infotainment software, including new features such as Android Auto. To celebrate 50 years of Porsche design, a limited number, 750, of special edition 911 Targas will be offered. Based on our experience with myriad 911 models, we can confidently recommend the Carrera S. It boasts 64 horses more than the standard Carrera, and we'd be happy with either the engaging manual transmission or the snappier dual-clutch automatic. Those who want to enjoy their 911 year-round, but have to deal with slippery winter conditions can add all-wheel drive for $7,300 if you feel 4 winter tires aren't enough. We're content with the coupe body style, especially since the cabriolet costs almost $13,000 more. We'd also opt for the Sport Chrono package that adds launch control, additional drive modes, and more. The Sport Seats Plus provide more supportive front buckets, and the Sport package adds a lowered suspension and a louder exhaust system. Our selection of upgrades would conclude with ventilated front seat cushions, passive entry, a heated multifunction GT steering wheel, and Porsche's Dynamic Light System Plus that features automatic high beams and headlights that swivel in the direction the front tires are pointed. We'd also recommend taking advantage of the Porsche Experience Center. For $395, plus a $50 damage waiver fee, you will be received coaching and track time in your new Porsche at either the Atlanta or Los Angeles location. If you don't live in those areas, you can travel and book time in one of Porsche's vehicles instead. Prices for those experiences range from as low as $400 to as high as $900 depending on location and model, engine, transmission, and performance. Mounted in the rear of the 911 is a twin-turbo 3.0-liter flat six-cylinder engine. The base Carrera has 379 horsepower, the S pumps out 443 ponies, and the GTS generates 473 horses. While every model comes standard with a ridiculously quick-shifting 8-speed automatic transmission, a sweet 7-speed manual is offered on the S and GTS. The coupe and cabriolet have standard rear-wheel drive, but they can be fitted with all-wheel drive for 4-season, high-performance driving. The Targa is all-wheel drive only. We've tested the base Carrera as well as several variations of the more powerful Carrera S, which proved its prowess at the racetrack and its incredible traction in adverse weather conditions. No matter the application, every 911 has astonishing acceleration, especially when the gleefully good launch control is utilized. At our test track, the GTS model bolted to 60 miles per hour in just 2.8 seconds when equipped with the 8-speed automatic. With the 7-speed manual, the 911 GTS delivered a slightly slower 3.2-second result in the same test. Porsche's optional sport exhaust system also helps enhance the experience by providing a fuller engine note. Best of all, the 911 is as comfortable as ever and also better to drive. Its steering is communicative and brilliantly direct, and the coupe and convertible have increased cornering grip and stability. The ride quality is surprisingly supple, too, despite the 911's amazing body control, which allow drivers to seamlessly switch between relaxed and spirited romps. Fuel economy and real-world MPG. With EPA ratings of 18 miles per gallon city and 25 highway, the Carrera S with the manual transmission is the most fuel-efficient 911. However, other 911 models' fuel economy estimates don't drop much farther from those figures. On our 75 miles per hour highway route, a Carrera and Carrera S, both equipped with automatics, earned impressive results of 33 and 30 miles per gallon, respectively. For more information about the 911's fuel economy, visit the EPA's website. Interior, comfort, and cargo. The 911's interior continues to look sophisticated rather than complicated, with a mix of buttons, knobs, and touchscreen controls, and, for the first time ever, a large center cup holder. The gauge cluster also deviates from history, ditching the mainly analog instruments for mostly digital ones. While these screens have some user experience issues and can be blocked by the steering wheel, the central tachometer still uses a physical needle that follows the engine's revs towards its heavenly 7,400 RPM redline. The 911's low-slung driving position and supportive front seats are fantastic, and the steering wheel has a wide range of adjustment. We only wish Porsche used less piano black trim on the center console, provided more interior cubby storage, and gave this icon of a car a grander shifter than the stubby flipper that comes on automatic-equipped models. Although the 911 continues to offer seating for up to 4 in theory, the tiny back seats remain as hostile to adults as they were when 911s first hit the road in the mid-1960s. Infotainment and connectivity. Every 911 is outfitted with a 10.9-inch touchscreen integrated into the middle of the dashboard. In addition to voice commands and buttons on the steering wheel, the center screen also features rotary push-button controls on the console. The infotainment system supports a Wi-Fi hotspot, wireless Apple CarPlay, and wired Android Auto. Porsche does provide 2 high-end surround sound systems that include a 12-speaker Bose unit and a 13-speaker Burmester stereo. Safety and driver assistance features. The 911 is available with myriad driver assistance technologies, including desirable options such as automatic high beams, blind spot monitoring, and even night vision. For more information about the 911's crash test results, visit the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, NHTSA, and Insurance Institute for Highway Safety, IHS, websites. Key safety features include standard forward collision warning and automated emergency braking, available lane departure warning and lane keeping assist, available adaptive cruise control, warranty and maintenance coverage. Porsche's warranty coverage is standard for the segment, with the first maintenance visit covered free of charge. However, rivals such as the Jaguar F-Type offer more value by covering maintenance for up to 5 years. Limited warranty covers 4 years, or 50,000 miles. Powertrain warranty covers 4 years, or 50,000 miles. Complimentary maintenance is covered for 1 year, or 10,000 miles. Hello, welcome to NT Car Reviews channel. 2022 BMW X3 xDrive 30i. Apparently Goldlockshit is German for Goldilocks, but you could do worse than new 2022 BMW X3. It's roomier than the small, sporty X1, but not as large or expensive as the X5. There's a reason X3s are the best-selling BMW. In some years, they're not just the best-selling SUV, but these bad boys have also been known to outsell the ever-popular 3 Series sedans. We spent a year in the X5, and were suitably impressed by its 3.0-liter turbocharged 6-cylinder and technology offerings. The X3 has the smaller engine and most of the tech. Can it deliver similar results? What did we get? We got a 2022 BMW X3 xDrive 30i 5-seater SUV with a starting MSRP of $45,700. In BMW speak, xDrive means all-wheel drive, AWD, which bumps up the overall cost from the base xDrive 30i model. The 30i references the entry-level engine. In this case, that engine is a 2.0-liter turbocharged 4-cylinder, 248 horsepower, 258 lb-ft of torque. The EPA says it's good for 24 miles per gallon combined, 21 city/28 highway. Between us, I started daydreaming after typing AWD. I've wanted to learn to snowboard ever since fracturing multiple bones last time I hit the slopes in high school, and I can't wait to drive this X3 to the mountains. Standard equipment highlights include an 8-speed automatic transmission, stability and traction control, Apple CarPlay and Android Auto compatibility, iDrive 7.0 with voice controls, a power tailgate, a rearview camera, and LED headlights. It also has a long list of driver assistance features such as forward collision, lane departure, and blind spot warning systems. Adding the premium package cost $3,450 and gave us a heated steering wheel, lumbar support, heated front seats, a head-up display, a panoramic sunroof, and the ever-popular gesture control. We'll be flicking our fingers at the stereo in no time. I'm told Tanzanite Blue 2 Metallic is named for the gemstone found only in Tanzania. Choosing this radiant color tacked on another $1,500. The microchip shortage led BMW to delete both the BMW digital key and passenger lumbar support. Those features, though dearly missed, saved us $80 and $175, respectively. The destination charge, however, tacked on $995, bringing our total to $51,390. Why did we get it? The X5 really impressed the Edmunds staff. Getting a chance to drive it's more popular and more economical, yes, it's still a BMW, you don't have to tell me. Sibling is an intriguing proposition. This is the best-selling vehicle BMW produces, better than both the X5 and 3 Series sedan. If we need another reason, well, we haven't had one in our long-term test fleet since the 2012 model year. We're talking Heat Thunder NBA Finals, which I hate to mention was a literal decade ago now. So follow us on our 12-month test drive of BMW's latest offering in the small luxury SUV segment. We'll see how the X3 xDrive 30i stacks up against other trim levels like the rear-wheel drive X3 xDrive 30i or high-performance X3 M40i. We also look forward to comparing it to its top rivals, Audi Q5, Acura RDX, Genesis GV70, Mercedes-Benz GLC, and Porsche Macan. Of course, there will also be plenty of feedback from our daily routines. We smashed our previous fuel economy records thanks to a long road trip. File under EPA schmepa. That's 31.7 miles per gallon at the pump from DuPont, Washington, 92 octane. I will note for science, to Redding, California, average speed 70.5 miles per hour. EPA says 28 highway for X3 2.0 AWD. Check out that range, 539.8 miles. Diesel who? Josh Sadlier, Director, Content. Another note for my LA to Seattle Odyssey in the X3, cranking up the average speed to 75.8 miles per hour thanks to higher speed limits on I-5. I still saw 29.2 miles per gallon at the pump over the course of 452 miles. Again, the EPA says 28 miles per gallon highway for this thing. It's quite remarkable that I did better than that at 76 miles per hour. BMW still got that special sauce in the engine room. Josh Sadlier, Director, Content. How's the fuel economy 10,000 miles in? Overall, not bad. We're right at the EPA estimated number. Here's what one of our contributors had to say. I had a trip from LA to Santa Barbara to Paso Robles and snagged the X3. Upon returning, I logged 438.9 miles and needed 16.327 gallons to top off the tank. That figures out to 26.9 miles per gallon. The EPA estimates highway mileage at 28 miles per gallon, which would seem plausible if traffic were flowing at 65 miles per hour and there were no steep grades to climb. Overall, it's a solid SUV for road trips, but it'd be a lot better if it had adaptive cruise control. I'm surprised that our test vehicle didn't have it, since it seems to be standard equipment on cars that cost a lot less than the X3. Mark Takahashi, Senior Reviews Editor. 2022 BMW X3 xDrive 30i, Maintenance. We'll keep you posted on our X3's maintenance, from the routine to the not-so-routine. Maintenance Summary. Total routine maintenance costs. Additional maintenance costs. Warranty repairs. Non-warranty repairs. Scheduled dealer visits 1. Unscheduled dealer visits. Days out of service 0. Breakdown stranding driver. Total body repair costs. The X3 asked for its first oil change just shy of 11,000 miles, which felt like a long time to wait for a first service. But you'll never hear me complain about a low-maintenance vehicle. A quick trip to Valley BMW in the Central Valley of California took care of the job, which included the oil change, an inspection, and a standard scope service, which is just a fancy way to say diagnostic check, which also kinda sounds like an inspection to me. Anyway, that was all covered by the warranty. Oh, and they washed the car, which is great, because this puppy is a bug magnet. Pretty good. 2022 BMW xDrive 30i, Technology. Even the base X3 comes loaded with technology, and we're going to test it. I complained about wireless Apple CarPlay when we first got our X3 right here on this website. Not about the product. I love the product, but it was buggy to the point of uselessness. Since my gripes, it appears an over-the-air update has just about fixed the problems. Lag, spotty connectivity, you name it, the X3 had it. I love the convenience of getting in the car, tossing my phone in the center console, and getting on my way, and wireless CarPlay, when it works, is a game changer. Jake Sundstrom, Editorial Assistant. I had heard that some of my coworkers had issues connecting their iPhones to our BMW X3 via wireless Apple CarPlay. I am therefore pleased to report, as of March 2022, that a recent iDrive system update has seemed to have remedied the situation. I drove our X3 for about 2 weeks straight and didn't experience any connection glitches or reboots. The response time, when you, say, click to skip to the next music track and have that track actually play, is slower compared to when connecting by way of a USB cord, but I've experienced that in other cars with wireless CarPlay too. Brett Romans, Senior Editor, Written Content. 2022 BMW xDrive 30i, Performance. Yes, it's an SUV, but it's still a BMW, right? How does it drive? It isn't a 3 Series, but the X3 certainly feels nimble on curvy roads, and there is a noticeable difference between driving it and its larger sibling, the X5. If you're deeply concerned about tearing up country roads before buying an SUV, perhaps wonder if the class of vehicle is the problem and not the model. But alas, a soapbox for another day. Jake Sundstrom, Editorial Assistant. The BMW gets up to speed with ease and takes to the curves better than most other comparable SUVs. Unfortunately, I don't think it does slow very well. I tend to perform limo stops, where you try to come to a complete stop without really feeling it stop completely. It's about finding the lightest touch on the brake pedal, but no matter what I try, the X3 refuses. As I roll towards a stop with featherlight brake pedal pressure, the smooth deceleration is inelegantly interrupted by some noticeable downshifts that cause some lurches. Then, just as the car is about to come to a stop, the brake pads grab the rotors, resulting in an even more noticeable lurch. It's not ideal, nor is it a deal breaker, but I would have expected a luxury car to be able to stop more smoothly, even if it is sporty and fun. Mark Takahashi, Senior Reviews Editor. Any thoughts on the steering? The steering in this X3 leaves me with mixed feelings. I really enjoy driving around town thanks to its small dimensions, tight turning radius, and overall maneuverability. On the highway, it's a different story. The steering wheel is numb off-center. So after a short time on a straight road, with the steering wheel pointed dead ahead, the car drifts slightly. It requires constant, small adjustments to keep the car in the middle of the lane. It happened often enough that I switched from comfort to sport mode, thinking the heavier steering setting might help. No such luck. Mike Schmidt, Senior Manager, Vehicle Testing Operations. What's the power situation? Don't challenge anyone to a drag race. It could seriously alter your future, Marty, but you'll likely be satisfied with how the X3 performs chugging up large hills. It never wants for power thanks to the single turbo assistance its 4-cylinder engine receives. Jake Sundstrom, Editorial Assistant. Typically, I'm firmly in the more motor camp, and there's no doubt that the X3's optional turbocharged 6-cylinder engine, specified in the M40i variant and boasting 382 horsepower, is a peach. But even though our 4-cylinder X3 xDrive 30 makes a seemingly wimpy 248 horsepower, I never find myself thinking that its sauce is weak. There's plenty of punch for anything the commute might throw at you, and the numbers bear that out. At our test track, the X3 sprinted to 60 miles per hour in a satisfyingly swift 6.2 seconds. What's more, the refinement of this powertrain is top-notch. I'd love to have an M40i, but the xDrive 30i is no slouch. Oh, I forgot to add, sport mode. Always sport mode. It's the first thing I press after the start button. In sport mode, the X3 is alive and engaged. Until you press that button, though, it's not ready to rock. Josh Sadlier, Director, Content Strategy. 2022 BMW xDrive 30i, Comfort. The X3 tries to split the gap between sporty and comfortable. How well does it do? How's it on the highway? Impressively comfortable and quiet. It probably helps that we've got the most relaxed X3 spec possible, which is the xDrive 30i with the standard, non-sport, suspension, and the regular 19-inch wheels. The optional 20 or 21-inch wheels are fancier, but have shorter tire sidewalls, so there's less cushion. This combo easily smooths out ruts and bumps on the road. And there's not much wind noise or tire noise. That combo makes our X3 a pleasing companion on a long drive. Brett Romans, Senior Editor, Written Content. Spending more than 5 hours driving to and from San Diego over the past weekend crystallized my disappointment in the X3's lack of adaptive cruise control. You may recall our fully loaded Kia Sorento, despite its flaws, came with ACC, making it a superstar when it came to road trip and high-traffic environments. It's one thing I find lacking on an otherwise very capable SUV. Jake Sundstrom, Editor CarMax. How about around town? The BMW gets up to speed with ease and takes to the curves better than most other comparable SUVs. Unfortunately, I don't think it does slow very well. I tend to perform limo stops, where you try to come to a complete stop without really feeling it stop completely. It's about finding the lightest touch on the brake pedal. But no matter what I try, the X3 refuses. As I roll towards a stop with featherlight brake pedal pressure, the smooth deceleration is inelegantly interrupted by some noticeable downshifts that cause some lurches. Then, just as the car is about to come to a stop, the brake pads grab the rotors, resulting in an even more noticeable lurch. It's not ideal, nor is it a deal breaker, but I would have expected a luxury car to be able to stop more smoothly, even if it is sporty and fun. Mark Takahashi, Senior Reviews Editor. What about the front seats? You know, I'm a little underwhelmed. They're fine, but I found myself fiddling with the seats adjustments more than I thought I would. The seat isn't lacking for anything. Our test X3 has the upgraded four-way lumbar too, but I just can't seem to dial in a driving position I really love. Ultimately, I feel like I'm just sitting on a chair rather than being fully supported by something great. Brett Romans, Senior Editor, Written Content. Okay, but is the X3 too focused on comfort? BMW's been accused of turning its back on its traditional enthusiast clientele for many years now, but the X3 is one vehicle whose comfort bias dynamics seem just right to me. There's a lot of suspension travel in this rig, big dips, and speed bumps really get it bouncing around, and no shortage of body roll either. But honestly, how many people really want flat cornering and a stiff ride in a luxury SUV? You get one of these to cruise around the city without a care, and that's exactly how I felt driving the X3 on LA's patchy pavement, carefree. To be fair, the few times I did probe the X3's cornering potential, I found it to be decently athletic. But most folks will simply enjoy the X3's smooth and supple ride. I bet BMW sells a lot of these for precisely that reason. Josh Sadlier, Director, Content Strategy. Any neat features we should know about? The My BMW app lets you connect your phone to your car, giving you the chance to do things like lock the doors, check the fuel level and, it claims, ventilate the vehicle. You'll note it doesn't say precondition the vehicle. Can you feel smug Tesla owners clutching their keyboards a little tighter? That's because all it appears to do is run the fans in the vehicle, which is awesome if you want to feel a bunch of hot air blown around your cabin on a 110-degree day. Alternatively, you could just drive just about anywhere in the continental United States during summer right now to try the feature for free. Jake Sundstrom, Editorial Assistant. Hello, welcome to NT Car Reviews channel. 2022 Rivian R1T. It's been 4 years since Rivian, an all-new electric vehicle startup, first showed us a truck we never knew we needed and opened its pre-order books. And at long last, the wait, for some at least, is finally over. The Rivian R1T is the first to arrive to market, leading a new wave of modern electric pickup trucks from the factories of Ford, Chevrolet, Hummer, and, maybe, eventually Tesla. As a company formed in this modern tech age, Rivian isn't like traditional vehicle manufacturers, and it shows in the design of the R1T. Size-wise, the Rivian R1T sits somewhere between a mid-size truck, think Ford Ranger, and full-size truck, think Ford F-150, but weighs a hefty 7,150 pounds, which is roughly the weight of a heavy-duty truck, like this F-350 Super Duty. Despite all the weight, it accelerates quicker than many sports cars do, and can get to places virtually no sports car would dare. To date, it's the best handling truck we've driven to, and that's made possible with the help of the R1T's standard adjustable air suspension. It can raise and lower the entire body by as much as 6.5 inches, perfect for clearing rocks and fording streams off-road or for hunkering down like a lowrider to turn a corner on-road. Its incredible versatility doesn't end there. An innovative gear tunnel between the truck bed and passenger cabin provides a ton of storage, 11.7 cubic feet. An immense front trunk, 11.1 cubic feet, takes the place of where an engine would sit, instead offering heaps of grocery space. And if you want to do actual truck things, the bed has a hefty payload capacity of 1,760 pounds, and you can tow up to 11,000 pounds. As cool and impressive as any of these numbers are, we want to know if this truck can actually deliver when put to the test. Which tests? All the tests. So we bought one, and we'll do with it what we please. Did we mention we have Ford F-150 Lightning on order for our long-term test fleet too? What did we get? If you were one of the 90K plus hand-raisers to plunk down an early deposit for a spot in the Rivian R1T production queue, then you'd be getting a launch edition R1T. That's the truck you see here. When a manufacturer offers a launch edition model, they typically come with some exclusive features like a special exterior color, specific badging, and sometimes a bundle of options at a slight discount. The Rivian R1T Launch Edition checks those boxes. All launch editions come with quad-motor all-wheel drive, delivering a staggering 835 horsepower and 908 lb-ft of torque to whatever surface you happen to be rolling across. You also get Rivian's large battery pack, 135 kilowatt-hours. This pack is the second largest of 3 battery options, wedged between the standard, 105 kilowatt-hours, and the max, 180 kilowatt-hours, packs. The large pack battery is said to deliver 314 miles of range on a single charge, according to EPA estimates. We verified that the R1T could meet that estimate in the real world, albeit by a small margin. It traveled 317 miles on a single charge. Those 317 miles were on a truck wearing the standard 21-inch wheels and all-season tires. With the Launch Edition, we were able to select upgraded wheels and tires at no additional cost, but doing so would cost us some range, theoretically. We went with the 20-inch wheels and chunkier, off-road-oriented all-terrain tires, which Rivian estimates would reduce our total range by 40 miles. If we had chosen to upsize to the larger 22-inch wheels with all-season tires instead, our range penalty would only be 21 miles. The Launch Edition also comes standard with the Adventure package. This spruces up the interior with heated and cooled perforated vegan leather seats, beautiful natural grained ashwood trim, and a premium audio system by Meridian, replete with an uber-cool removable Bluetooth speaker that recharges when stowed in the center console. Further, the package includes Rivian's Gear Guard, which turns the truck's surround view parking cameras into security cameras and provides a locking security cable to thread through any loose valuables in the bed or mounted on the roof rack, if you have one. If we're feeling paranoid, we can have the truck send us activity alerts on our phones and review recorded footage, CSI style. Perhaps we'll finally be able to put a face to those darn car detailing solicitors. Other included features worth mentioning are a full suite of advanced driver aids with things such as adaptive cruise control, lane keeping, blind spot warning, etc., as well as an onboard automatic air compressor for airing up your tires whenever and wherever you feel like it. The final touches of our Launch Edition truck come in the form of that unique interior badging, which is actually pretty discreet and tasteful, and an exclusive launch green paint. This green is on the paler side, with a bit of brown mixed in. Although it's not quite as striking as the darker and deeper forest green on the R1T color swatch, we still dig it. If we had to call our green something more descriptive, we might go with oxidized guacamole. The only options we checked outside of our prefix $73,000 launch edition were the reinforced underbody shield, $2,000, and the all-weather floor mats, $175. This brought our grand total, before taxes, licensing fees, and federal incentives, to $76,250, including $1,075 destination. If you happen to miss the headline, Rivian raised prices earlier this year. So if you're thinking you'd want to spec out a truck just like ours, it will, unfortunately, cost quite a bit more. Here's a quick breakdown of our truck using today's pricing structure. R1T Adventure Package, $73,000. Quad Motor AWD, $6,000. Dual Motor AWD is now the new base offering. Large Pack, battery $6,000, required for any quad motor truck. Forest Green, $1,750. Any color other than LA Silver is extra. Oxidized Guacamole unavailable. 20-inch wheels with all-terrain tires, $2,500. Reinforced underbody shield, $2,000. Power tonneau cover, $3,000. All-weather floor mats, $200. Yup, even these went up in price. Destination, $1,075. Total estimated price, $95,525. Since we ordered our Rivian R1T, prices have gone up roughly 25%. For launch edition owners looking to make a quick buck, that's a pretty decent return if they decide to offload to the highest bidder. We, on the other hand, don't have any plans on selling anytime soon. Why did we get it? The list of reasons why you wouldn't get a Rivian R1T is probably a lot easier to compile. It's kind of expensive, especially after the price hike in early 2022. It's a larger vehicle if you don't have a lot of space to park, and it's the first vehicle from an all-new, untested company. Those things aside, how in the world could we pass up owning something so frickin' cool? Could you? Real-world fuel economy. With electricity being so cheap compared to gas prices, especially now, it's easy to gloss over the efficiency of an electric vehicle. To date, the Rivian R1T is the least efficient EV we've tested, at least until the Hummer EV arrives, using double the amount of battery juice to travel 100 miles as a Tesla Model 3. That's not so surprising considering how much it weighs, the fact that it has 4 electric motors to feed, and that it's shaped, well, like a truck. Here, we'll be tracking just how much electricity our R1T consumes on average, and then translate that into a language we all can hopefully understand a bit more clearly. Amperic drain sounds scary. What is it, and how does it apply to the Rivian R1T? Battery Drain Test Part 1. We started noticing our Rivian R1T had a lower state of charge when we came out to it in the morning than we left it overnight. This can happen with all electric vehicles in small quantities, especially when left parked for long periods of time. We were noticing it in larger than expected quantities after leaving it parked for just one night. So, we decided to put this battery drain, sometimes called the amperic drain, to the test. After leaving the R1T parked, and presumably very lonely, for 6 days we checked back in on our $75,000 truck. So, the truck dropped from a 71% state of charge all the way down to 51% after sitting idle for 6 days. Electric vehicles like the R1T are, of course, not exactly just sitting. They're running copious software to manage the battery and various systems to keep the truck functional, sort of like leaving your computer on sleep mode rather than shutting it all the way off. Of course, you have the option to power your computer down. You can't do that with your truck. Rivian released a software update, 2022.27.02, that may address some of the battery drain issues. So we plan to perform this experiment again and will note any performance improvements. For now, we'll keep an eye on our state of charge both before and after getting out of the vehicle for the night. Battery Drain Test Part 2. See Part 1 above. Shortly after we performed our static battery drain test, where we left our Rivian R1T alone for 6 days straight to see how much juice we'd lose, Rivian sent out an over-the-air software update that was supposed to help mitigate that issue. So we decided to perform the same test again to see if anything improved with a fresh batch of code. We left the R1T parked for another lonely stretch, this time 7 days, before checking back in. So, this time around, the truck dropped from a 70% state of charge down to 54% after sitting idle for 7 days. If you compare this to the results of the previous test, the drain on the battery has actually decreased, as Rivian said it would. In the first test, we lost 20% of our battery charge over 6 days, compared to just 16% over 7 days in this test. So our drain per day has gone from about 3.3% to about 2.3%. We plan to perform this test with a few of the other EVs we own, and will compare those results. An inefficient electric vehicle can create a unique set of hassles, senior video producer Doug Tyler found. This has been an experiment for me to see if an EV is doable for an apartment dweller with no home charger. There are lots of chargers nearby. I naively thought to myself, well, finding an open charger in Glendale/Burbank on Saturday for Labor Day weekend has been a fool's errand. Yes, I'm that fool. My whole afternoon is now being completely dominated. Finally found a charger, level 2 only, so excuse me while I go wander around in 105-degree heat for the next couple hours in order to gain 20 to 30 miles worth of battery. Does the range diminish the R1T's outdoor chops? Rivian markets the R1T as being an outdoorsy kind of vehicle. But I'm wondering how realistic it is to use an EV for off-road adventure. Here's an example. There's an off-road trail I'm familiar with. It's about 65 miles away from my house and is suitable for a day trip. If I fully charged our R1T at home, I'd have about 300 miles of range. That trail is up in the mountains, so figure maybe 100 miles of range expended to get to the trailhead. That would leave 200 miles or so for driving the trail and then getting home. There is a DC fast charging station along the route home, so I could use that to free up more range on the trail. It seems feasible. But I'm also a little chicken because I don't know how much range I'd use on the trail. Rivian specific outdoor charging stations, the Adventure Network, seems like a cool idea, but as of October 2022, there are only 6 stations operating nationwide, 5 in California and 1 in Colorado. Hello, welcome to TB Car Reviews channel. 2023 Infiniti QX50. The 2023 Infiniti QX50 struggles against its luxury-grade classmates despite pleasant looks and stylish interior. Infiniti's compact SUV is compromised by a lackluster complex, variable compression turbocharged 4-cylinder, which fails to deliver the promised advantages in fuel economy or performance. Competitors with conventional turbocharged 4s such as the Audi Q5 and the BMW X3 xDrive 30 accelerate quicker and are equally parsimonious with fuel. Dynamically, the QX50 skews toward comfort rather than sportiness, which should be a non-issue for most buyers. What they get instead of athleticism and driver engagement are a smooth ride and a quiet cabin. The QX50 delivers stylish looks and an upscale interior ambience, but it lacks the substance needed to thrive against its top-ranked competitors. What's new for 2023? The 2023 QX50 carries over from the previous model year mostly unchanged, but a new sport model replaces the essential trim in the middle of the lineup. The sport name may be a bit of a misnomer since it adds no performance-enhancing features, but it looks sharp with gloss black exterior trim and dark-painted 20-inch wheels. The cabin gets semi-aniline leather upholstery and a 12-speaker Bose stereo. The rest of the lineup benefits from a few new standard features: heated exterior mirrors, remote start, a wireless smartphone charging pad, among others, and all models now come with 3 years of complimentary scheduled maintenance. We think the new mid-level Sport is the best choice among the QX50's many trims, as it comes with a decent amount of standard equipment, including a 360-degree camera system, heated and cooled front seats, in-dash navigation, interior ambient lighting, and more. Those who want all-wheel drive should expect to dole out another $2,000. Engine, transmission, and performance. Since its redesign for the 2019 model year, every QX50 has been powered by a turbocharged 4-cylinder engine that uses variable compression, called VC Turbo. The engine makes 268 horsepower and 280 pound-feet of torque and pairs with a continuously variable automatic transmission, CVT, that directs power to either the front or all 4 wheels. The engine seamlessly swaps between high compression during steady cruising and low compression during hard acceleration. While it never exhilarates when the pedal hits the metal, only those seeking a seriously quick crossover will be disappointed. Unfortunately, the engine is loud under heavy throttle, and the CVT makes this worse, especially around town. The Infiniti prioritizes comfort and luxury, with a compliant ride that is composed on rough roads and smooth on the highway. While the steering wheel provides little communication with the road surface, it has accurate reactions and light effort. Unfortunately, the Infiniti's soft brake pedal operates inconsistently. This leads to more than one shoddy stop in rush hour traffic, where the QX50's nose dives forward under heavy braking. Still, it only needed a competitive 164 feet to stop from 70 miles per hour in our emergency braking test. Fuel economy and real-world MPG. Despite a so-called revolutionary engine touted as maximizing both power and fuel economy, our test vehicle was less efficient than advertised during real-world testing. The front-wheel drive QX50 is rated at 23 miles per gallon city and 29 highway, while the all-wheel drive version has estimates of 22 miles per gallon city and 28 highway. All these estimates align with the similarly equipped BMW X3 and Volvo XC60, but that's disappointing when you consider the VC turbo engine is intended to be more efficient than traditional alternatives. The last all-wheel drive QX50 we tested on our 75 miles per hour fuel economy route, part of our extensive testing regimen, fell short of its highway estimate and returned 27 miles per gallon in the real world. For more information about the QX50's fuel economy, visit the EPA's website. Interior, comfort, and cargo. Inside, the QX50 can be fitted with quilted leather seats, wood interior trim, and a faux suede headliner. However, these upscale appointments are available only on the most expensive model. Still, every QX50 has a comfortable and quiet cabin that includes a spacious second row with reclining seat backs that proved to be a highlight of the 2019 QX50 that we had in our long-term test fleet. The QX50 has 31 cubic feet behind the back seat and up to 65 cubes with the 60-40 split folding rear bench folded flat. We managed to fit 9 carry-on suitcases with the seats up and 22 with them down. Both results were 2 more than the X3 held. While our top-of-the-line test vehicle had the motion-activated power liftgate, none of the lower trims has this useful feature: infotainment and connectivity. The dual touchscreen infotainment system will bother some more than others. We also were annoyed that the heated steering wheel and custom drive mode settings are only accessible through this interface. While we appreciated the familiar volume knob, the rotary controller on the center console only operates the top screen. Every model has Android Auto, wireless Apple CarPlay, and a subscription-based Wi-Fi hotspot. Both 12 and 16 speaker Bose stereo systems are available, as is mobile Wi-Fi hotspot. Our test vehicle did have several power points, with 3 USB ports up front and multiple 12-volt outlets, including one in the cargo area. Safety and driver assistance features. Every QX50 has a host of standard driver assistance technology that includes lane departure warning and lane keeping assist. For more information about the QX50's crash test results, visit the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, NHTSA, and the Insurance Institute for Highway Safety, IHS, websites. Key safety features include standard forward collision warning and automated emergency braking, standard blind spot monitoring and rear cross traffic alert, standard adaptive cruise control with stop-and-go technology, warranty and maintenance coverage. Although many luxury brands offer complimentary scheduled maintenance, Infiniti does not. It does provide competitive limited and powertrain warranties, along with 4 years of roadside assistance. Limited warranty covers 4 years or 60,000 miles. Powertrain warranty covers 6 years or 70,000 miles. Complimentary maintenance is covered for 3 years, regardless of vehicle mileage. Hello, welcome to TB Car Reviews channel. 2022 Fiat 500 Electric. The Fiat 500 Electric lands in Australia next year, so we drive an overseas example to see what it's all about. Fiat has become a car maker a critic might compare to one of those graying musical acts that keeps touring but hasn't come up with any new material worth listening to in yonks, and is simply milking its back catalog for all it's worth. The Mazda MX-5-based 124 Spider was a likable, but ultimately forgettable cover album. And the Fiat 500X was an unimaginative and somewhat cynical reinterpretation of old material. Meanwhile, endless new variations on the 500 city car have kept the fans entertained. But at long last, Fiat may just have a worthy comeback album on its hands. Sure, the all-new, all-electric 500 has a familiar name and, from a distance, looks familiar, but don't let that fool you. The material here is truly fresh and original, and very current indeed. Let's be clear about the name first. This new car is simply called the Fiat 500. The second zero of the badge has a dash in it to make it look like an E, but Fiat never actually calls the car the 500e. It does sometimes call it the new 500 or 500 Electric to avoid confusion, but nowhere does it say electric on the car. But who knows, Fiat Australia might decide to adopt the E as a local differentiation. While Australian specifications and pricing are yet to be confirmed, in Europe, where we are testing it, the 500 offers a choice of 2 battery capacities. The smaller pack comes with a weaker electric motor and is available in the traditional hardtop hatch, while the 500C, with its retractable fabric roof, is only available with the bigger battery. There is also a choice of 4 trim levels. Entry-level action is quite basic and always comes with a smaller battery. Red is a slight step up and offers a choice of the 2 batteries. Icon comes with a 42 kWh pack only and has a reasonable amount of standard equipment. La Prima is similar to a fully loaded Icon. We'd expect Australian cars to have only the larger 42 kWh, and Icon offers a good balance of features and value. The confusing naming disguises the fact that this 500 is a completely new car. You could be forgiven for thinking it's a re-engineered version of the existing car, but when you park it next to an older one, it becomes abundantly clear that cannot be the case. The new car's size and proportions are just distinct enough that this can only be a new car. Fiat is now part of Stellantis, of course, and most if not all of that group's future EVs will use the CMP platform developed by PSA, which can accommodate petrol and diesel engines, hybrid powertrains, and full EV tech. However, the 500 project began before the merger of Fiat Chrysler Automobiles and PSA, and it rides on a bespoke EV skateboard platform. Mechanically, it's a relatively unadventurous recipe, using McPherson struts for the front suspension and a torsion beam axle at the rear, as is the norm for a small front-drive car. Not going with rear-wheel drive might seem like a missed opportunity given both the 500's history and the way the mass EV market is developing technically, but the traction benefits of RWD are limited in low-powered compact cars like this. The drive battery under the floor has a capacity of 42.0 kWh in most versions, including the car we're testing here. Of that, 37.3 kWh is usable, giving a WLTP range of 320 kilometers. The smaller battery has just 21.3 kWh of usable capacity, good for 190 kilometers. That base version comes with peak power of just 70 kilowatts, while other new 500s have 87 kilowatts. For a small car, the Fiat is heavy on account of its 295 kilograms battery pack. Its 1,365 kilograms curb weight dulls its performance somewhat, but it still managed to hit 100 kilometers per hour from rest in just 8.1 seconds. The 500 has 3 driving modes: Normal, Range, and Sherpa. Normal has only slight regen, equivalent to engine braking in a petrol car. Range dulls the initial accelerator response and boosts the regen quite significantly but stops short of one-pedal driving. And Sherpa is like Range, but turns off the climate control and limits you to 80 kilometers per hour. City cars are generally not known for their engaging handling. Simple suspension layouts, modest limits of grip, and generally conservative wheel geometries, intended to promote stability rather than boost agility, see to that. As a result, adequate handling is really all that's required here. To our great delight, however, the 500 does a lot more than that. Our test car came on optional 17-inch wheels shod with 205/45 Continental EcoContact 6 tires. That's a pretty meaty tire section for a car of this size, and, as a result, the 500 develops more than decent grip and traction, which is something cheaper EVs can struggle with as their more rudimentary traction control systems fail to contain the instant torque. Other versions of the 500 come on 195 or 185 section tires, so might behave differently. The car's suspension is quite stiff and allows very little roll through corners, so although the light steering transmits no tactile road feel, you can be confident in placing the Fiat when going through corners at speed. In fact, it often feels like you don't need to slow down for corners at all. Just aim the car in and hang on, while the agility afforded by the short wheelbase ensures the chassis obeys your instruction in a way that is a bit reminiscent of an original Mini. Ride and handling remain a compromise, but it's one that Fiat has struck reasonably well with the electric 500. As well as good stability on the freeway, it offers longer distance comfort and refinement, although its EV range will dictate how long you can cruise. Speaking of range, Fiat 500's claimed 320 kilometers was made to look optimistic during our testing, to say the least. With some motorway usage, 225 kilometers proved to be a more realistic estimation of available range during test driving in admittedly fairly cold weather. If you stay within the city, and if the weather's ideal while you're doing it, you might eke out 260 kilometers. Frustratingly, the range indicator tends to be optimistic when you set off with a full charge too. Charging speeds are decent, but no more. The smaller battery tops out at 50 kilowatts, while the bigger battery can charge at 85 kilowatts, which means that a 0 to 80% charge takes 35 minutes. It has been a long time since Fiat has been at the top of its game, but with this new electric version of the 500, it has finally produced a winner. The exterior as well as the interior design are still as recognizable and cute as ever, but despite the retro bent, it looks thoroughly modern. And for something as style-forward as the 500, that's most of the battle one right there. But it goes further. It's also a convincing prospect to own and to drive. There are EVs with more power and more range, but the 500 isn't entirely left behind on that score, and thanks to its tiny dimensions and tight turning circle, it fulfills its primary purpose as a city car too. Although it can't completely cover its city car routes, the Fiat is remarkably good to drive when you venture out onto the open road.